Great. Well, thanks, Nick. That was a great presentation, and thanks, Tony, Will, and all of the team earlier on with the panel. It was very enlightening. It also shows that there is a very strong drive towards combining technology within the current usages on the beaches to make life safer for the beachgoer. And also, what's also been very evident today is it's also aimed at helping the lifeguards move towards an easier workload rather than being overburdened with a lot of data collection that could actually be automated. Now, what I want to try and do today is just introduce to you to unleashlive's Smart Beach AI solution. Effectively, what we do is we make it safer by collecting more data and combining that data and then presenting that data in a way that makes it easier for the people who need to know what's happening on the beach as quick as possible, and when they need to know it as quick as possible. So providing that in an easy format for them to work with and to make better decisions faster. Okay. As you can see, I'm here mainly because this project for me, when Tony spoke to us about this, it resonated with me in particular because I've grown up on the beach. I'm an avid surfer. I love the ocean. I've also seen the downside of the ocean. I've had a couple of people die in my arms as a volunteer lifeguard. So I can see the dangers that are out there in the ocean and its wild capabilities. On coupling that, I am a dedicated technologist in the format that I've always loved video, and I've loved the way that video and imagery can actually tell a very good story. And now, utilizing AI or artificial intelligence, we can actually extract a hell of a lot of data that was never there before or was untapped. And now we can present this to the people that need it as quick as possible. So let me jump into this presentation. What I want to try and do is give you an overview. I don't want to dive too deep into the technology, but I want to talk to you about what we're doing in working with smart beaches and how we're utilizing cameras on the beaches that are currently there to be able to provide more data that helps the lifeguards make better decisions. So one of the main things that we found very impressive with this project that Tony has set up was it had a very clear and distinct objective. The objective really was to determine the number and the concentration of people in a secondary patrol area during the complete day, and then send alerts or pass the data on either through an API push into an app or through the dashboard, which I'll show you we've developed over the period of time. So those of you who are out there and in the lifeguard world and like me have experienced what it's like on the beach day to day, we all know that collecting the data, in particular numbers on the beaches, is quite a shot in the dark sometimes. So it relies on people's vision, it relies on people or number of people on the beach, but it also relies on the whether that person being a lifeguard is under stress at that period of time and has as much concentration as they can, as well as their judgment of how many numbers on the beach. And I want to just quickly play you from last Sunday, actually, when I was down at Bilgola Beach, how the numbers are captured up and down the beach outside of an iPad where you add in your data, but it's radio based. So if you're listening closely.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm just gonna observe.
We have 200.
Now you can tell by the young lady on the end there wasn't a hell of a lot of confidence in that. So she's estimating exactly what's out there. And what we do is we work with the established camera networks on the beaches to be able to improve that confidence. It allows then the actual lifeguards to be able to focus on the things that they need to do. And as Matt Duplessis said, it frees them up from the paperwork and to focus on the jobs that they're really at hand. So let's jump into it and get going. So what is Unleash Live? Well, Unleash Live is a cloud-based software platform. We ingest live video and we apply artificial intelligence instantly on that video to be able to provide decision-making tools as quick as possible. This means that we connect and stream from any camera. And in the case of what Nick was just talking about, there are multiple types of cameras. So not only can we connect to a CCTV camera on the beach, but we can also connect to the drones, live streaming that data in, and also the lifeguards' smartphones. So over a period of time, that technology then gives you a well-versed and understood framework of all of the information you need, and more people can be connected to that to help in that decision-making process. We apply artificial intelligence in the real time. So in other words, we're coupling our AI algorithms on these frames as they come in. When we also deliver our analysis immediately to the people who need to know it as quick as possible. We have a wide range of AI apps that can actually work with us. And more importantly, we can enable remote control of these cameras, whether it be the CCTV camera or it could be the drone that's being operated. So this is how we do it. And like I said, I'm not going to go into too much technology. I really want to fly over the top, excuse the pun, fly over the top of the technology, but get really down to what we've done. So on the left here, you can see these are a multitude of different cameras. It also means that the beaches themselves don't need to go out there and install new cameras. So they can utilize what they have on the beach. They can connect in, and New South Wales Surf Life Saving have connected multiple drones now. They're using drones up and down the beaches. We can connect with those drones, we can connect with the CCTV cameras, and as mentioned, a smartphone can actually be utilized to live stream in any incidences that needs help, and that can be spread to whoever needs or shared with whoever needs to be able to make these decisions. On top of that, you could actually go all the way to satellites and start to analyze the satellite imagery for tidal movements and data such as that. All of this information is streamed straight into the unleashlive cloud platform. We apply a multitude of different frameworks of AI. We have an app store that has off-the-shelf capabilities, and that then just flows straight into the customer workflow. And what's really important, as Matt Duplessis mentioned, is we can capture all of this information, and Tony loves the fact that we push this into a dashboard, which then can also go for an API into their app. And by doing that, it means that the lifesavers can refer to the data coming straight in without having to go out there and search and look around and take their eyes off what they should be doing. Additionally, we can create dashboards, and as mentioned, it's capable in the workflow through an API push. So this is what we did. So now what you can see here is a typical panning camera. It's live streaming straight in. Well, this is not a live stream, but we live stream straight into the platform. And as the camera pans across there, we take a snapshot of the actual beach to make sure that we are not double counting. So in other words, as it scrolls across, we have enough sufficient area to make sure that we're capturing everybody within the screen. We're identifying the numbers on the beach. We also apply, as you can see here in the picture down the bottom, which is the picture in picture, we apply our COVID logic to it. And the COVID logic revolves around if people are grouping together or too close together, they then provide red rings around them. So effectively, people who are green have given themselves enough COVID space. The additional side, the adverse side is they're too close together, and we identify that with red rings. Now, one other thing that was noticeable there is you probably saw that we've increased using all of the work that we've done with Tony and the Smart Beaches crew. We've increased the ability to be able to capture people lying down. And also you can see in the distance, and a lot of these, it's capturing people at a fair distance away. This data is then automatically pushed straight into a dashboard. It's anonymized so that nobody on the beach, his face can be identified, which council loves because of privacy laws. And it's stored depending on the duration that the council or the company requires it. So we can purge that data immediately and have no data, raw data available, and just utilize the AI captured data to be able to create all of the numbering that goes through. So this is the dashboard. As mentioned, this is where Tony and the lifeguards can turn to immediately to get their insights. And what it does is it allows you to be able to really drill down into either day-by-day data or week-by-week data or month-by-month or even the full year. And that allows the lifeguards, and in particular anybody that's looking to resource or manage the beaches, an opportunity to be able to really get into understanding exactly what's happening over a longer period or a shorter period of time on their beaches. So let's break this dashboard down quickly. As you can see on the left here, you've got a fast overview of the numbers that are counted on the beach. You've got a peak numbers of the day, which gets updated straight away as soon as the next numbers come through. Then you can jump to multiple locations. And in the case with Tony, we've got 4 to 5 different cameras up and down multiple different beaches along the New South Wales coastline. And by just simply clicking on the map there, you can jump quickly to that dashboard, which switches you and gives you all of the data from just that camera. All of this data can be summarized and utilized in whichever way you want, and it can be exported or, as mentioned before, pushed straight into an app or any other work ERP system that's required. And lastly, you can actually scroll down and look retrospectively back on your data in the bottom here, and just simply click on that, which then gives you the opportunity to see what changed between the two. So it gives you that perspective. Here you have the hourly people count. And the aim of this really is to help the lifeguards who have to radio in to be able to get a fair understanding of exactly what's happening on the beaches. And you can see very, very quickly the spikes. You can see which are the most predominant days. You can, on this, it's obviously the Sundays are the days that most people are getting to the beach. And you can also see in each one of those, how many times a day we're capturing it. So you can see all of the different columns there, the spikes, and within that, within the days on an hourly rate, the data that's being captured and the data that's being pushed there. It's really quick. When it comes to the, it's pushed to the dashboard immediately. You can start to drill down on each peak based on how, whether you want to find out which hour of the day. And it also can help you to reflect back on events that happened in the day. So sometimes this data can actually drive you back to looking at what happened on that day. So you can refer back to your video and imagery footage to get a better understanding of what's on your beach. Now, this is the other side of it. This is when we start to take a little bit of a macro look at it. And this is where we can start to scroll back through the data from the weeks, the months, and the years. And so this helps in the daily sign-off. It gives you a summarized version of exactly how many numbers per day. You can actually use this to manage your beach staff. You can actually utilize this in resourcing from the councils for facilities, for the waste management, and the list goes on. And then you can also, and what I think is most important that I've heard throughout this presentation today is that data needs to be consistent. And currently data isn't consistent because we've got multitudes of people all utilizing their own eyes. Whereas now, if you consistently utilize the cameras that are on the beaches, your data can become very, very consistent. Now, this gives you a quick snapshot of the whole year. So when I say the whole year, this is basically from May all the way through to right up to now. And you can see all of the different trends. For those of you who are not in Australia, May through to around about November, the weather periods can change. It's not a huge shift in temperatures. However, if I overlay the temperature, you can actually see now the temperature differences do have an effect on the beach numbers. And you can see as it slowly starts to gradually rise on the right-hand side there, we're heading into summer. The temperature's starting to rise. The minimal, the lower temperatures are lifting off or increasing. So it means people are getting back to the beach. Now, we also throw in this year that we had a bit of an anomaly in the format of COVID, and the effect that COVID had was quite significant. So you can see that less beach attendees were on there. Even in winter, there were certain days that there were spikes. But quite interestingly, where I've highlighted here, this beach that we analyzed, or the data I'm showing here, was on the northern beaches. And in the middle of December, there was a cluster, which meant that there was a lockdown. So you can see that the numbers very, very quickly rose, but then dropped off dramatically over a 2 to 3 week period where everybody was locked down. And then it gradually rose again until what we have is Australia Day, which is a national festival. And as you can see, thousands of people hit the beach. Now, just moving on and in certain ways, wrapping up, this technology in analyzing video and imagery can be expanded to multiple different use cases. As I started off, I mentioned what I loved about the initial process that we started with Tony and the Smart Beaches crew was that we nailed it down to identifying people on the beaches. But this can also now be extended to utilizing drones along the beaches to either capture the video and the imagery and to be able to live stream that back into the central command, or to be able to also analyze the number of people on the beaches, or as Nick mentioned, utilizing and applying the shark analysis algorithm through the AI straight onto the camera, but more importantly, onto the live stream that's coming into the command center. And then you can scroll right back and you can start to look at shorelines, you can start to look at rips, you can start to look at cliffs, and the tidal analysis, and the list goes on. But you can actually use other data forms such as satellites or drones at a very high level to be able to get a fair understanding of what your beach is doing, as well as what the people are doing. And then lastly, you can see down the bottom here, that can be fed back into the local council and then the wider city itself. And that can be things such as adjoining facilities, connecting other cameras, looking at other walkways, and looking at car park facilities. All of this data then actually helps make decisions better and faster. And when you compound that with other data that can be ingested in, such as your tidal, your weather, and the list goes on, it really gives you a very good oversight that helps you to make a good decision on the beach. So that's me. I hope I gave you a clear insight into what Unleash Live has been doing with smart beaches. As mentioned, if you want to know more about our technology, feel free. You can contact me with my email here, but I'm more than happy to answer questions right now.